Welcome
Yeah.
into the Thoughts and Friends podcast, Bachelorette edition. We're talking night one of the Bachelorette. We've made our first eliminations. That is BRODY. My name is Wes. We're joined by Bobbie, as we will be every week, breaking down every episode of the Bachelorette. I want to get right into it. There's a lot to cover. I want to mostly skip over the beginning of the episode where they covered most of Michelle's background, things she's looking for, things like that. Anything that stood out to you, Bobbie, before we move on to more of the main event, the guys that she got introduced to?
Nothing major. I think it was the first time I had seen her parents, so I just took some notes about that. I think it was great that they showed the strong relationship. I think that's going to come up like every 5 minutes. And I just paid close attention to her dad. It's the final stamp of approval, and people typically date their dads, so keep that in mind.
Okay, I know she meets their family, but how many guys meet her dad, mom and dad? Is it just like 1, 2, like the end? Like how many?
I would say typically it can be like 3 to 4 at the most.
Okay,
But
sounds
yeah,
about right. Okay, so we won't see him again for a while, probably.
correct.
We can get right into the guys. After they covered Michelle, where she grew up, things like that. They talked about a few of the guys. You mentioned they would do video packages. They started playing those. To be honest, I thought they were so like awkward. I thought they were all really. They felt like rushed. They did them in like 5 minutes. It felt like they were all like in their car on their phone, like recording themselves. I thought it was very, very odd.
It's got to feel real. It's got to feel overproduced. And it didn't. It did not feel real. It felt half of them felt very disingenuous and very scripted, and the other half felt cringy.
Very cringy. The only one I thought like did a decent job and felt like he was being himself was Nate, which turns out he had a good episode. We'll get into that later. He was star of night one. He had a pretty good episode. I thought he did a good job. He was pretty charismatic, seemed natural on the camera. Anyone else any other notes you took on the videos out there? Bad.
I have a full note or a full page here. So I'll try to make it somewhat quick because I think limo exits are more important. But kind of going back to that, I think that they used to be way more produced, and I think that they're just trying to make it seem more authentic. However, I also think it's a COVID thing. Like I think they're bringing in less camera crew to like people's homes, maybe. And so I feel like a lot of those were filmed during their actual quarantine, preparing for the show. But that's it, just a guess.
Sure. Yeah, they did seem like they were kind of packing and things like that. They're like right before they left type of thing. One guy had his mom in it, and that was real awkward.
Like, what the fuck? I thought that was so weird. Why was your mom in it?
It was the worst one.
He said like she wears her heart on her shoulder instead of
yeah.
I was like
at the end he's like, okay, thanks, mom. And like shut the camera off. It was so bad.
No, it was so weird. Okay, so it started off with Chris, and anytime there's like a first, I feel like I just try to make note of that, the first person shown. So it went to Chris, and he definitely got that goofy edit, and I feel like he's going to be someone that they try to like show their personality. He'll have no real connection though. Absolutely loved Nate. He shocked me in his video edit because it was like he seemed kind of like dorky. Which I was thinking he'd be the complete opposite. Let's think. The farmer vibes was weird. From Ryan.
What was that?
Talk about like
that was like a Calvin Klein ad.
Cliche, like, hey, maybe do one with the shirt off. Maybe try it with the shirt off. Get up there and see what that looks like. It was so bad.
I don't know like what a true farmer boy looks like in California, so I guess I can't speak on that, but that's not what farmer boys look like in my hometown.
Who was that? Which person was that?
Ryan.
Oh yeah. Well, that makes sense.
We'll talk more Ryan. I will say you talked about Nate real quick. I mentioned him too. Yeah, he definitely, I think we were based on his profile in the beginning, in the first episode we did, the preview. I think we so far have swung and missed on Nate, I would say. Would you agree?
I will say, I think based on the teaser for the episodes to come, we may have been right though.
True,
I think maybe he was on his best behavior in this episode. Okay. We may see all the layers of the onion soon to come.
I think that we were absolutely accurate about him going to be a fan favorite. I think it's going to be hard to sway some people away from Nate. Um, I also wanted to make a comment. Do you remember like there was a guy in that video shoot? He was like looking at the camera and he like threw the basketball behind him and it made it.
Oh yeah, yes, I do.
Yeah, I don't remember who it
I
was
was
though.
just like, I need to know how many takes that took. I wrote that down specifically. Like, how many takes was that? That was Joe from Minnesota, by the way.
That was Joe. We'll
Mm.
talk more Joe when we get to entrances too. Okay. Any other video package guys you want to mention?
Only other one is just a silly comment, and it is Brandon J was giving like, why would you wear a turtleneck with a chain in your video package? Like he was giving the Rock meme vibe, but
I was tweeting about this. He's one of the worst dressed men I've ever seen.
Yeah, Brody called him Junior
He
Prom.
was dressed like he was going to junior prom to talk down there. He had like the silver Coles tie with the Jordans on.
Big as hell.
It was brutal. All
I
black.
know.
I mean, it
I
was
know.
real 16-year-old energy.
And
I know.
yeah,
I wish I would have seen the shoes, but 16-year-old energy.
tough.
Kind of acted that way too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, we'll talk a little more Brandon J too. We can get to entrances, limo, whatever. What do we call them? First
Limo
impression.
exits.
All right. Who was the someone who also had a video package? I just wrote Chris was very cringe in his. He's the one that came in on a school bus and made a joke about giving her the D, which was nailed it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
He was so cringy. I think you might be right. They're playing him up pretty hard. He did make it through, but I don't think he has a chance.
I agree.
I was wrong about his personality, but I think I was right that he sucks.
He sucks for
Yeah.
sure. He's so
I
cringy.
agree. So
Right.
let's talk about the first guy out of the limo. This is big. It's like, the first person that Michelle is seeing. And that guy is Nate.
Wasn't it?
So yeah.
So do we think that's actually the first person, or do we
Right.
think it's edited
That's
so
it.
that it looks like it's the first person?
Which is important too.
Which also is probably more telling than anything. I guess it doesn't really make the actual order. The order that they're presenting them to you is what to look at here, probably.
I do think that they're showing the generic order for at least the first one. Because they'll even say later on, you were the first out of the limo, things like that, later into the season. They do typically reference that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will say she looked probably most nervous early on. Like it felt like they were probably the first ones.
All right.
People. I think Jamie was early too, right?
Yeah, he might have been second.
Jamie was number 5. I think.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Well, Nate was first. Go ahead.
Okay, so Nate was first. He came out of the gate with showing all of his culture with his authentic name, or I don't know what you would how you would properly say that, but I was absolutely shocked, and she seemed starstruck by him, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a good entrance. He did. I forgot about the name. He just said his full name. And yeah.
Is Nate the most handsome person on the show? He's certainly in the running.
We are talking about PJ.
He got no shine, but that guy
didn't get any shine.
That man is gorgeous.
Good looking dude.
Okay, I have no notes of. Oh wait, PJ, the big fire truck. Yeah.
He was hardly in at all.
Okay, yeah, PJ is gorgeous, but you're not taking me away from Nate yet. Holy crap.
Oh yeah.
He's quite captivating.
Nate might be one. I mean, I'm looking at all these other guys. He
got the first impression rose for a reason. He was
we're not there yet.
Great looking guy. Well,
I mean, assuming people watch the show.
I know.
Don't watch this if you haven't watched the episode yet.
Don't watch the recap though. Come on, go ahead.
Nate is top of the line.
Elite.
Next we're gonna see Romeo, and what language was that? First of all, he's she was just sitting there like this.
Was it
French?
I
What?
think it was French.
We thought it was maybe French, but
didn't seem to land. But he got a rose, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I think they'll keep him around for some comedic relief, perhaps.
He didn't get a lot of screen time, I don't think. I don't remember him.
No, he didn't. Jack Russell, that dude's whole brand is just based around the fact that he is the same name that the dog.
Yeah, that was his line too. Like how many?
That guy's been using that joke since he was
Yeah.
9 years old.
You would think at this point it's like every person I've ever met says this. Why would he use that as his pickup?
Like
line?
his friends invite him to hang out with like their other friends. Are like, okay, just to tell you before he's gonna say the thing about his name being Jack Russell.
Just laugh
go
off.
with it. Just laugh at it. He's gonna say it every single time he meets someone new.
He said some sort of pun
Just,
too, like dog pun, like I'm Jack Russell and I'll be like.
It's like I'm loyal.
I'm like a dog, yeah.
Obedient, and
No.
so
some other.
so brutal.
Immediately no. Yeah, immediately no.
That one didn't work. Shocker.
Yeah. I'm going to say also Clayton was the next out, and he gives me like real estate vibes. Like I feel like he is like your classic guy that is now a realtor, and he's like hitting you up on Facebook to join his live.
It says he's a sales rep, so that seems pretty dead on.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean he seems like he's in this for his own gain, and it worked because, as we said in the last episode, he is the next Bachelor.
He is.
It worked. He got his shine.
We obviously knew he would be at least advancing past a few episodes. Was he the one that brought a ruler for him to get?
Yeah, the yardstick.
In the moment, I was like,
she kind of liked it
kinda
though,
was into
or
it,
she
I
said
thought.
she did. She said it was.
She didn't like. So how often does the girl or the guy up there like light him up? Like, you're an idiot. Or do they always be pretty nice and like, oh, haha?
I feel like normally it's pretty nice, especially at the limo exits.
I feel like Chris S. She was kind of like not fucking with him at all when he did the joke about the D or whatever.
Yeah.
She was not having that.
No, she was.
No, she was like
immediately.
detention.
Yeah,
I know, that was funny. I kind of liked that.
she wasn't about it. So Clayton swatted on the ass and he was off. And then we had Jamie, who was fifth.
Then we have Jamie, and I definitely think he caught her eye. I think he'll be a front runner. They were like really vibing well.
Right. When they went off for their alone time, it seemed like that went well. They featured him in that pretty heavily. It seemed like that went well.
I was thinking it was going to be him or Nate was going to get the first impression rose. I was between
I agree.
two.
Yeah. So kind of like the next few, it like sped through a bunch of guys. Like a lot of those guys went home, things like that. So kind of going back to notable ones. Yeah, the bus thing didn't go well. LT steps out in a Speedo.
Yikes.
How did that guy get a rose? I mean, that was a producer pick. That was a producer pick, I feel like, for sure.
He had this weird, like, demonic look on his face. It was like, I wrote down he looked like a serial killer.
Yeah, he was giving me
weird
serial killer vibes. It was not working for me.
He's
not the pizza guy, right?
He's Clint Eastwood's grandson.
Okay, so we'll get to him. Go ahead.
So next we had Rick, and he came out in the table thing. And I'm going to say, like, yeah, it's clever.
He committed.
It's clever, but he stayed in it for an hour and a half of the show.
He was, they're all sitting around, like, after they do their stuff.
The couch.
He's sitting around with these dudes on the couch, just still in the table, like, popping his head out of this. What are you doing?
He also seemed so awkward to me. He seemed more awkward than he was like. Seemed like nervous laughter, nervous smiles.
He was
seemed
like
very awkward, very uncomfortable, which is
like,
surprising.
kind of
he would take a swing like that.
He was tweaking out a little bit.
He was a bit tweaking. He did get a rose, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And they did show their alone time together, and it went fine. I thought it was okay. A little awkward. I don't know.
He really laid it all out there. He
Yeah.
was very, very intense.
A lot of food puns. Like he was really committed to the.
Yeah.
I'll be your main course.
Your entree.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was so bad. It was so bad. So I want to say, so next we're in Ryan. So let's just remember that Ryan was on the live version of Bachelor previously.
Right.
So what were your guys' thoughts on Ryan? On his limo exit. This is all we're talking about here.
So that was the ice cream truck, right?
Mm-hmm. It was.
So how many more of these are we going to do? Do we want to just get, because I imagine a big portion of this is going to be some Ryan discussion. Do we want to just do all that right now? or how do we want to do this?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm trying to think. Like,
Yeah.
Are there
let's
any
dive in.
are there any other entrances that you
Yeah.
want to hit on first, and then we'll do Ryan last, and we'll just do
We'll
Ryan
dive into
the
that.
whole Ryan piece of this.
I only had a few more quick comments. The pizza guy, I just like couldn't deal with it. He was yelling and he had the dough.
I thought that one was better than the one that got
Yeah.
like 200 likes or whatever it was.
Have you ever seen Parks and Rec?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, if you've seen Parks and Rec, you remind me of John Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Same, you tweeted same energy, and it was
Aggressively loud,
Dude.
the absolute worst person you've ever met in your life.
It was a lot. It was so much.
He strikes me as someone that only talks in like pizza riddles.
Yeah.
Like he only talks about pizza and owning a restaurant
Italian.
and being Italian. Very, very into it.
So also, I think it's important to note that the producers totally clowned poor little Daniel when they put the full-size fire truck right after his exit.
Oh yeah, they did him so dirty.
Yeah, so bad. He just got cut so hard by the fire truck, and he was PJ, right? They got out just looking.
Yep.
Like,
hottest guy in the show,
yeah,
maybe.
That's
I actually wrote that my jaw dropped when he got out of the truck.
Yeah, he looked cool as hell.
He did look cool. It was just like the fact that he was like, I have a full-size truck.
They did him so good. Yeah, just cucked him so hard. Also cucked was imagine being the second guy to use like a foreign language, and after the guy that spoke French, you come in and do it too, and you're like, seen it.
Yep. Yep. And really, so the last one that I'll comment on was Joe. I thought that it was crazy that she was like, I know I recognize you. And he like stopped and turned around.
For her to recognize him immediately, they had to be DMing like a month ago. Like it.
Or a lot. Or they DM'd for a long time and then posted her. But he said that it was, somewhat recently with the George Floyd stuff. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, within months of this
because this was filmed over the summer, so yeah, it was.
Yeah. So it's just like, why wouldn't he say that at his limo exit? He obviously knew it was going to come up. Why wouldn't he have said like, I've never forgiven myself for kind of ghosting you. Like I'm here to make things right, and you've been on my mind. It's like something like that.
He came out into the cocktail party and he's like, I really wasn't planning on talking about this. It's like, what do you mean, dude?
What do you mean?
Seems like that should be the one thing you planned on talking
Conversation
about.
one. What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
So like, you
before we do Ryan, let's do a little bit of Joe. So Joe, I guess you obviously know if you're listening to this, you watched the show. They knew each other previously. She actually slid in his DMs, right?
Yes, to talk about basketball.
Talking to him. He was also a basketball player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking, and he didn't even seem like that apologetic when they had their alone time deal. Like he was kind of like, no, I get it. It was very odd. I didn't understand his angle to remedy that with her. It seemed like a big swing and a miss. Obviously, at the end when he gets the rose, he's getting it. Like they built up to it, and he obviously was going to get it. But I didn't think he did a great job of talking his way out of that screw up, I'll say.
Brody, what were your thoughts on that?
My antennas, I don't know. It felt very produced. It felt fake to me. It all felt very fake to me. And maybe it's not. Maybe I'm very cynical going into this, but I don't know. With the amount of research they do on this type of stuff, this seems like something that everyone would obviously know about beforehand. And maybe not. Maybe that's not true, but it just felt very produced to me. It felt over dramatized for the sake of making him the last rose person, when the whole time it probably may have not been as big a deal as they made it seem, and they just wanted to milk that drama for this episode.
I know.
That was my thoughts.
I really want to know how long they were DMing for. Was like this just like, a couple things back and forth and like, hey, text me, blah, 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 and never replied, or, what was it like? So,
he really didn't, in my opinion, to act like it was a big deal at all. Like she seemed pretty upset about it. Obviously, he was the one that ghosted her. but
Right.
so she was upset about it, and he didn't seem that apologetic about it.
In my mind, like, yeah, I mean, the context of this whole situation is very key. But if, I mean, they're just DMing, they've never met before. Like, it seems like it wouldn't warrant you being that
right, heartbroken.
torn up.
That's
and
why,
heartbroken.
right, knowing like how long they talked or things like that would be different.
I know. I wish they would tell us, and because they're not telling us, makes me think that it was just like kind of fabricated a little.
Yeah, or blown way out of proportion, maybe. Like, if at first she didn't recognize him, but also she was super heartbroken that he didn't DM her back, that doesn't add up.
True. Yeah, I guess it was good that if she's gonna be mad about it, she like knew him right away.
Yeah.
So that made sense. You thought?
Well, no, she's like, do I know you? I've seen you before. I recognize you.
Yeah,
But then
yeah,
she's
that's
like,
true.
you broke my heart. It's like, well,
Right. Yeah, that's
I
true.
think you would
guess she didn't-
immediately recognize him if.
Yeah, I guess right away she didn't know. He's like as he was walking away. You think so? Like after it was over, you still think he's like a major.
Oh, I think
you
Joe's got an excellent
he
chance
thinks
to
he's
win
gonna
this
win.
whole thing.
He thinks he's gonna win still.
I think he's got a great chance to win this.
He was my
thing.
pick in the preview show, and
He's gonna go far.
he's for sure gonna go
So-
far. I just don't know if he's gonna win.
So here's my kind of take on how he handled it when she brought it up to him. So because he seemed so thrown off, that makes me think, and like he didn't have a great response, that makes me think that like he had to like kind of think of it on the go because he didn't really think it was like a big deal, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not totally counting him out because of that. So I think that they obviously needed some drama for the first night. And it really does, to me, it kind of seems like he really did have some like anxiety issues. I don't know whether they were truly tied to that time in his life or what, but he did just seem like an overall anxious guy. And he was like sitting there kind of like a deer in headlights a little bit.
Yeah, he was. That's true. I'll kind of set up Ryan, and Bobbie, you can talk about what happened with him. So I watched it. For those of you listening audio only, head over to the YouTube channel and watch, because we're gonna, as we go, we'll have some like visual aids to help remind you, especially early in the season, for the guys before we really know who they are, because we still have it up here. We are trying to keep them straight. So watch on the YouTube channel. I watched it back to get some screenshots for this show, and it was very obvious. Ryan, like he kept saying, or Michelle kept saying when he did his interest, oh, you really did your homework. Oh, you're really prepared. She like really led you down the path that Ryan was fucking around. But anyway, he shows up in a ice cream truck and says some like cheesy line about like making your heart melt, or I don't know what he said. But you can go ahead. You can get into Ryan.
So I thought that it was incredibly interesting that they had the hosts go into people's rooms. So we saw them go into a few people's rooms first, and they were forgettable. And then they went into Ryan's room, and he was like, "Oh gosh, like I have no idea what they could possibly find." And then they unravel like just like so many notes, and we're talking like things that like.
Weird.
They were
the weirdest thing.
out in like Excel tables,
like biology, like freshman biology notebook notes.
This
like,
motherfucker had like pie charts and shit.
Piles of notes.
And then like, I don't know if you caught it, but he did have like on the front of the folder, he had a piece of tape or something with the name Bachelorette on it, and it was spelled incorrectly. And then he drew a rose underneath it. I was like, tell me you're a show plant without telling me that you're a show plant.
That we're saying.
Oh,
pretty obviously.
This seems so fake.
So fake.
So fake.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Most paid actor of paid actors. He had the douchey shirtless intro that was so over the top that if he was actually trying to win, there's no way he would do that.
Yeah.
She was bringing up like like you said, bringing up the homework thing from the moment she saw him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
oh wow, you really did your homework.
For him to be a real person, he would have to be a complete sociopath, like a legitimate psychopath.
He showed up, he's like,
right.
heard you like ice cream. It's like, all right.
And then at the end, he's like, no, I have nothing to hide. He's like, dude, you have 3 binders full of notes. What do you mean you have nothing to hide?
A locker of notes.
Yeah, for him to just be stone-faced and just lie, like he'd have to be a complete psychopath for him not to be a fake person.
Is there anything I could do to change your mind? No, get the fuck out.
Okay, so then we see them discover that research. We see his limo entrance, and we know that like they obviously made Michelle really like his limo entrance to give it dramatic effect. And
Mhm.
then Tasia and Caitlin were watching the limo exits, and they've never shown like the host watching the exits behind the scenes like that, and I really liked that.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting.
I
and I
thought it
thought it
was
was
funny
hilarious.
they were like watching through a bush.
Yeah,
That was
I know,
funny.
like peeping.
You would think they would just like watch it on like a monitor, like because it's a
right?
TV, but gave it a
And they were
little
just
realism.
roasting. Yeah, they were just roasting Ryan. They were like, Jesus, like get this man away, you know? Um, and so I thought it was funny that hardly, as soon as she talked to Ryan in the cocktail hour, the girls were like, nope, get her. We're going to tell her now, like not right after the limo exits, but
He was
whatever.
he was dude, I killed it.
Yeah,
I think I'm first impression. I'm thinking me.
yeah.
My
I mean,
notes,
there's
cried
no way
that.
a real person.
Yeah, it
was
was
that
such
way.
if I didn't.
He was like a professional wrestler the entire time. Like he's
Yeah,
playing a character.
right.
the
If you were
entire
here,
time.
if you were here and I didn't know like about this show plant, like and his live Bachelorette thing or whatever it was, like I'd be like, "What? This can't be real. Like this
No.
just isn't." I mean,
yeah.
it's a show that is pretty far fetched and wild as it is, but like, come on, man, it was
Yeah.
so bad.
And he crumbled so quickly too. Like they were like, why, so something that I thought was really interesting was that she was immediately like, okay, you have the notes, let's go to your room. And you hardly ever see like that behind the scenes of like their room or anything like that. And she had all the papers in front of her, like looking through them, and I just thought it was hilarious. I mean, yeah,
He
it,
was
it could have been,
one of my buddy's wives, and but me, I wrote some too, but like
yeah,
mostly her. She was like,
I will
so-
say it was realistic lying.
oh yeah,
The
he
line was
the
realistic.
worst.
It was well done. It was like, well, actually, and he was just all tripping over himself.
I
The
wrote-
stories got so cross.
I just never seen it. I wrote some though, like
It was like whenever you're 17 years old, your mom, did you actually do your homework, or did you? She's like, well, I did it. He's like, well, you just said 10 minutes ago that you didn't do it.
it's not even due.
But it's like, no, dude. It's like I see right here that's due. It's like, well, that's from like she changed it. The teacher changed it. I don't know.
It was so bad. He did the worst job. So I guess
it
that was
so bad. And like, so you're not familiar with as many names in the Bachelor world, but like on those notes, he was like writing actual people's names from previous seasons. Like, be like Jason, like
yeah.
he was, not trying too hard and blah, blah, blah. And like those people were also tweeting about his notes. And it was just funny to be like, why, they were like, why the fuck's my name on this dude's notes? Like, overall funny. I thought it was awesome that she was just immediately like, not entertaining you, go home.
Yeah.
That was the first elimination.
I was going to ask, is that a normal thing to have people get booted before the ceremony even happens?
I haven't. I've seen it like a couple times on the first episode. There's always that drama of like, is she going to give him a rose? Is she not? But I felt like she was one of the ones to do it the quickest, pulled the Band-Aid off and had him go home. But throughout the seasons, you'll see that a lot of like, not on night one as much, but just other nights where they're like, just go. Or people self-eliminate.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Mhm.
I had this question because they do this whole like they have to go up to her and like, will you accept this rose? Does anyone say like, nah, I'm good?
Mm-mm.
Like I don't understand the whole. I guess they have to do it for like the show, the camera, and everything.
Yeah, the theatrics. Wes.
Yes, of course I will. Yes, I would love to accept the rose.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I know, like at the end. I mean, you could say no at the end, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, right?
Saying no at the end.
Mm-hmm. Or
In a way, it's like it doesn't necessarily play out quite like that, but it could.
so on the show, they never say no, but like a week from there, they're like, yeah, we didn't go through with it. We're not going to get married.
Or it'll be like, oh, Cassie left, like she self-eliminated before the rose ceremony, or and so then like they don't even really have that chance. But I mean, there's people that like don't want to get engaged and they make that known too, but then they still like accept the rose. So,
Right.
kind of going back to the cocktail hour, I think that there was a lot of other things that happened. So, her conversation with Jamie was awesome. It seemed like they had a lot of natural conversation, tan jacket guy.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
we
we know.
pinned him as a okay, good.
We're
We
good.
pinned him as a front runner a while ago.
Mhm.
Yep.
Peter, so our like weird pizza guy, he
Peter.
came
Oh
in strong with those cannolis, and I thought that was kind of a nice touch.
yeah. Sure. He didn't. I wouldn't say he killed it by any means, but he didn't do himself any harm. I thought that was solid.
Peter's the type of guy that's a lot of fun to date for like a month because he's very high energy, but then after a while, he's not the guy you want to settle down.
You're killing me, Pete.
You're
Yeah.
draining my life force,
I'm
Peter.
tired.
Stop yelling. It's 6 a.m.
He
No, I
is
don't.
alive. I don't know.
it's
Maybe I just wanted a cannoli, but I really liked that. I was like, damn, that cannoli looks good.
It did look bussin', as the kids say.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't make it. I mean, there's no way he made that. How would he travel with fresh cannolis?
Brody, no.
But it looked good. So then I just said that, then she talked to Joe. She went to him to grab him in front of all the other guys. That was big. I feel like
Yeah.
all the other guys were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of odd. So yeah, I thought that it was kind of nice, not the way that it was brought up, but I said it with Ivan and I'm saying it now that I thought it was nice that they're pulling in some conversations about things that are happening in the outside world, especially with the race issue, and George Floyd, because they, so many times they're like super surface level on these shows. So maybe not the way that he brought it up, but I did think it was nice that he was like, this has been weighing on me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Not that it matters. Do you think there's any chance a white person wins this show?
No.
I would say almost 0% chance.
No.
I don't know. I did write down that because people generally are attracted to the man that kind of reminds them of their father. She does have.
Point.
No, her mom's white.
Her mom is white. His dad's
Yeah.
white. Her dad's white.
Yeah.
And I just think they are definitely making a point of all those moments within the show so far. So that I'm just trying to pick up the breadcrumbs that they're leaving.
Also, we know that Clayton doesn't win because he's the next Bachelor. I think he would be one of the top candidates, I would say, of the white contestants, perhaps.
Yeah, he's one of the top
If
three
we
or four,
didn't know, because who else? Alec. Oh man, they're in Indian Wells, California. It must be so hot in summer in Indian Wells, California. These dudes were leaking.
They
sweaty.
were leaking.
They were shining.
They were leaking. Yeah, that was bad.
And they were just pouring sweat.
It was bad. Speedo guy was probably okay.
Yeah,
but
good breeze.
Yeah. No, I love how diverse the group is. I was super sad that we didn't get any one-on-one time with what was his name? Pardeep.
Yeah, he did get a rose, which I was a bit shocked by because they didn't show anything with him.
So also he is the first Indian contestant on The Bachelorette, I believe.
Good.
And kind of, I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but also kind of going back to do you think a white guy, blah, blah, blah. And again, not that it matters, but so Riley and Marissa that were just on Paradise were the first African-American couple to get engaged through this franchise, which is huge. So anyone that's came out of this franchise has been in an interracial relationship besides them, or an engagement, I guess. So I think that it would be really interesting to see how far all these guys get, and if they continue to show more of those actual relationships that aren't just interracial.
Yeah, I would have to say that the top 3 or 4 at least are all black men contenders in my eyes after night 1. I would say Jamie, Joe, Nate, PJ, maybe not PJ. He didn't get a lot of lot of screen time.
I think Rick is up there right now, as cringy as
Who's
his
Rick?
shit was.
Oh, really? You think so?
Oh yeah, I think Rick.
Entree?
I think
Rick?
Rick. I think he hit all the right notes. I think
All
she
right.
was digging it.
All right.
I think Rick's gonna go deep.
I don't know, man. I don't.
I think Rick's gonna make a run.
Chris S is a no for me. Clayton, we know doesn't, which is big.
Yeah, and I guess that I'm not sure if Bachelorette has like confirmed that Clayton is the next Bachelor. I couldn't find that anywhere. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I was wrong.
I saw someone else mention that too. So I think it is known.
Okay. Also kind of going back again to the roast or sorry, the cocktail hour. I literally could not get over that Rick was in that table for so long, and that was like shown so much. Like, why was he shown so much?
Yeah, he
Because it was
intentionally. It was the most bizarre part of the episode, probably outside of like Ryan.
even when they went on their little date thing for
She
the
like
first
wheeled him in there.
2 or 3 minutes, he still just sat in there.
He didn't get out of there until they were like in the alone.
It was really bad.
Talk about full commitment.
But I think once he got out of there, I think
agree.
he nailed it. I think she
I
was
don't know
feeling
if
it. She was digging it. I think she's into sort of a goofy, lighthearted
She
vibe.
mentioned that to somebody else. I want to see it more goofy. I'm a goofy
No.
gal. I'm a goofy gal.
I think as much as we criticize, as much as we hate on it, seemed like it worked.
Okay.
He didn't.
Well, I hated it.
After he got out of the
I
table.
hated it too, but I think it worked.
He didn't do a bad job once he got out of the table. It's memorable. We're talking about
Rick. I think if you look at this picture of Rick, would we ever bring up Rick at all if he didn't do that? No shot.
Probably not.
No
Probably
shot.
not. Seems like
No shot.
I don't know where you're going. We gotta do Rodney. The apple of her Rodney.
We
He shows
have
up
to do Rodney.
limo exit, shows up because she's a teacher, shows up with I don't even know what it was, just like
An apple
right, it was
costume.
apple, like, costume. I guess just like a something
Cheap Halloween costume
flew
to
over
make
his
him
head.
look like an apple.
Oh boy. Now
I thought it was cute.
do you think that was his idea, or was it like, hey, we're an apple? Like how much of those entrances are like produced?
I think they're the guys' ideas. I mean, I think they're the guys' ideas.
I like Rodney. He
I didn't
seemed
hate it.
very sweet.
I didn't hate it. Seems like a nice dude.
They kind of in this cast picture, they kind of did him dirty. He's definitely way better looking.
Yeah, he's a big guy, but he looks kind of fat.
Yeah, he
in
looks
this.
kind of doughy, but he's just
In
like
this-
a big,
he's just like a
burly, strong
guy.
lad.
I
he's not-
agree.
he looks. They did do him dirty in this cast.
I think
But yeah,
he was super cute.
Yeah, the same way Rick had to. It was in his table. He just had to sit in an apple all night, which was very weird. Like when you make that decision, you're in it. You have to stay in that shit all night.
Then she asked him what type of apple he was.
Oh,
He said
man.
a green apple. He said Granny Smith was one of the only green apples. He's wearing a red apple.
It's just
costume.
it's like a ha like make the mood.
It's great.
Light. It was funny. It was good. I like Rodney too.
She knew a lot about apples.
She did. I was like, damn bitch, you stop criticizing.
She's a teacher.
She knew like 9 apples. Like how many apples are there?
She's a teacher. She gets given a lot of apples by small children.
That's true.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Any other comments before we get to the main character of the cocktail?
Casey, who was very barely featured at all. Casey, I don't think he has the last initial. There he is, Casey. He looks like a lot like Dax Shepard. That's all I got for him.
I don't have anything about him.
He's the really old guy.
If you're watching on YouTube, we'll side by side.
Oh,
He looks like Dax
Okay.
Shepard a lot.
The skeezy, like used car salesman looking guy.
like
Let's see.
mischievous.
Yeah. Old nightclub promoter vibes.
Oh, I have a comment. We went in on Garrett for no reason. Like we went in on this man.
Who? I don't even remember what he. Oh, was he the guy with the limp?
He had a limp and he broke his foot.
The guy had a broken foot and then he went home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No time, nothing, gone
And
immediately.
we spent so much time being like, this guy fucking sucks.
Well, he does
Well,
suck.
he sucks at the Bachelorette.
He lost night 1.
He's bad at the Bachelorette, apparently.
Apparently. Okay, so we have to get into our bread and butter of the cocktail. And that was Nate. I feel like not only did he like set himself up really well of being like, you know what, I don't open up very well and all this stuff, talks to her, he melts like butter. Like immediately is like, I'm not gonna get into my family issues, but and like it all came out of him. So not okay, he was corny and I liked it. I didn't care. It was still great. Not only did he get the first impression rose, he got the first and the only kiss of the night.
They were
They were smooching.
going at it, snogging as the kids.
They
were.
Who says that?
and normally a lot of people get kisses, and she only gave out one kiss, and
Oh,
that
we'll,
was
we'll get to the kisses. They saw in the little montage after she was smooching everybody. So we'll get more of those. But night one, only Nate.
it was only Nate.
Okay, you got something to say?
I think Nate is playing a game right now.
Bad news?
I think he knew exactly what he was doing. He's like, I never open up.
And then
here's me opening up.
And
like
then he would like.
I think he might have more of a playbook than Ryan. He probably didn't write it all out like a fucking psychopath. But
Yeah.
I
That's
think
what-
he's
so-
he's moving and grooving right now.
Talking about-
I think our perception and our intuition on Nate on the preview show is correct.
You're doubling down.
I think he's playing the field. He's moving and grooving right now.
Yeah, he even did, he did a good job of like, I don't want to say acting emotional, but he got a little quivery, a little getting into some family stuff.
What did we say? What was his red flag? Like his background, or he has some sort of business or
Doesn't
something?
he have like a big following or something?
So Nate, we didn't necessarily say that he had any red flags, but I just said he gave me some Chris Brown vibes only by looking at him.
I thought he was like no, maybe not.
But I
Thought
was
he was
worried
like-
that he would.
Go ahead.
I was worried that he would be kind of a fuck boy. But I don't know.
Yeah,
know
I don't know either. I'm 50-50. He definitely, I think I'm very cynical about all these people. I'm over analyzing all of it.
Right, and can't we say that about everyone though?
Mhm.
Like we were
Yeah.
talking today. Let's do that. We were talking today. Like this is all of it's so fake, right? Like it can't work. Like it's not like they're
it
all
does
there.
work.
I just
It
can't.
does work.
They're just the worst.
There are
person.
literally people married with children right now.
Yeah.
How? It's crazy.
So let me say my piece on it, damn it.
So
First of
before
all-
that, so you're telling me in like 2 weeks, like 10 of these guys are going to be like, oh, I love her so much. Please don't kick me off. I love you. You're telling me like 2 weeks we're going to see that?
It's not going to be like that. It's just going to be like, oh, I'm really starting to feel something for you.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Damn it. Go ahead.
Okay, Nate. I know that we're all cynical of him. However, I still feel like I have some I'm cautiously optimistic about him, only because let's set the scene. They are there when he was talking to Michelle one-on-one, it was probably 4 or 5 in the morning. So then so at that point, emotions may be high. You're kind of delirious. Are you going to start opening up? Are you going to start being whatever, I'm here, And then we go into the rose ceremony, and I don't know if you noticed, it was full-blown daylight. It was the next morning.
Ooh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was the next day.
So in my head, I'm like, obviously we see 45 seconds, 2 minutes of these little. How long are they sitting there? How long are they waiting to have their time with her? They don't it's
it's all night.
I mean,
Ugh.
so the thing with this Ryan thing is it fucked 5 or 6 guys that are getting any time to talk.
Yeah.
And if that's a produced part of the show, I'd be fucking pissed if I didn't get picked. I mean, whether it's his fault or it's the producer's fault, either way, I'm fucking pissed.
So
If I don't get a
none
rose, I never got to talk to her.
of the guys were interrupting each other. So normally on the first night, it's hey, can I steal you for a minute? And they're standing in line to talk to her, basically.
I was wondering what's the protocol of we form a line here. How do we determine who's some of these schmucks just didn't talk to her and went home? What are you doing there?
Right. Like you just took off work and you're, quarantined for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was kind of wild that so many guys aren't like running to go find her, but it could have just not been shown too. Um, so let's move into the rose ceremony.
Okay.
There's not that much noticeable about it or notable about it. But I did forget to ask, what were your guys' thoughts on her dress?
Oh,
I thought she looked great.
knockout. She looked
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Just
she
the
did
right
look
amount of
awesome.
skin, just the right amount of class,
Yeah, she looks really great.
tasteful, sexy.
So since this kind of is like rounding out the night, like I just like absolutely loved her. I felt like she's an awesome lead. She was having really great conversations with everyone. She was giving everyone a lot of energy, which was nice. Which is not always the case. Um, she called Jamie first, which I thought was great because we know that he stood out for her.
Mhm.
And then she excused herself like right before the rose ceremony was done, which was obviously done.
Just like a
So,
dramatic thing, like we're going to commercial. We'll see if Joe gets his rose.
right. Like
Okay, that was weird.
I thought it would have been kind of hilarious if she didn't give him a rose, but
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
gonna
it
give
was
him the
so obvious. There's no chance he wasn't going to get
I
it.
know. So we saw actually, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we saw 7 eliminations. So uh a lot of guys that I was kind of like, I thought we'd see at least some of them just went home completely, which is how it always happens. But they may go to paradise. We never know if we'll see them again.
Can we? I don't even know because they don't make it very clear who didn't make it. Do
So
you have it written down
have
who
them.
didn't make it?
I have them. Brandon K was not given a rose.
I don't even.
I don't
Was he
remember
even on
him
the
being
show?
on the screen.
Let me give you some like if you remember him from this. So
Okay.
Brandon K. Oh yeah, we didn't have anything about Brandon K.
Yeah, I mean,
Never mind.
basically wasn't even there.
So Brian, the guy
Brian was the
said
football
that looked
player.
like he was a football player, looked like cartoon Prince Charming.
NFL guy.
Yeah.
He was a big dude.
He was gigantic. Did he like do like a dance move and like dip her?
He did it twice.
Okay, that was him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He
Oh.
did a lot of screen time. We have Edward. We had
Edward. Hold on. Was Edward the guy that had the bowl? That like was doing the like bowl thing?
Oh, the like
yes.
yeah,
He was like,
doing this little like.
And she's like, wow, I feel so calm and not creeped out at all.
You're gonna miss, yeah. Get your bowl away from me, dude. So we had Edward, we had Garrett, Cane Boy, who broke his foot.
Obviously,
it's a tough draw. You're gone, Garrett. Can't have a broken foot here. Jack Russell.
Peace out, dog.
No,
boring as hell.
No puppy.
I see what you did there. Peace out, dog.
Jamari, we saw pretty much none of him.
Was he the ripped off his sleeves guy?
Ripped off his sleeve.
No,
Jamari.
I mean that's just an instant losing move.
Yeah.
Ugh,
he wasn't like crazy Jack.
No,
like he ripped off his sleeves and like, dude, everyone looks like that. What are you doing?
I've seen bigger.
Yeah.
He
wasn't.
He did have like the deepest voice I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Oh my god, his voice was so deep.
Yeah. And then we had Ryan. Obviously, Ryan was kicked off. He was the 7th.
Booted.
Okay. All right.
So those were eliminated.
Gotcha.
Obviously, didn't see much of them, so seems pretty fair.
It's not a big deal right now. Later on, we'll have some upsets when it comes to eliminations.
So you mentioned other shows. Like, is it pretty common for first people out to be on other shows?
It's not uncommon. I wouldn't say it's like
anything about them, they're just going to go on another show.
So like they do get somewhat of a following, even though they were eliminated pretty quickly. And then those people will be like, a little bit more mysterious in Paradise too, if no one knows about them. So Paradise works by being old contestants from both the Bachelor and the Bachelorette seasons. And then it's like a free for all. Like we've got couples on couples. We've got this guy talking to this girl, but banging the other girl. You are allowed to have sex on Paradise.
Okay, I was going to ask, what's the difference?
It's what's the British show?
It's kind of like Love Island.
Yes.
Love Island. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
It's a free for all. So, yeah, it was super exciting. I thought it was a great first night. I really liked
Yeah,
everything.
it was good.
We had some notable tweets.
Yeah, you wanna talk those? I haven't looked yet. I didn't spoil it.
Good.
I'm
Good.
going. You have yours. Let's see here. Don't look yet. All right, we'll start from the top of your text. Is that fine?
Okay. I think they're hilarious, but my sense of humor might be different than yours. So, live
Hey,
footage
go
of
over
the
it.
friend's wife.
For the audio people, this isn't going to be very entertaining. Go over to the YouTube channel. We'll post them on the video as we're going through them.
So this one's great. Live footage of the friend's wife watching at home, seeing all of her hard work go to waste.
You blew it. You blew it on that one.
Clever.
Yeah, pretty fun.
The next one, I don't know if you guys, I mean, if you're not big on TikTok, I feel like maybe you wouldn't appreciate it as much.
I don't know what movie that is. I
I thought it was,
don't think it's from a movie.
I think it's just like a meme of Robert Pattinson.
Oh, I thought it was from that one, the Safi movie.
No,
It looks like him in that movie though.
He was just like watching Michelle read those notes, like
yeah, just in the corner.
yeah, he's like, yeah. The next one was just to show you guys that the folder.
I didn't
spelled
realize
the Bachelorette.
Bachelorette.
Mm-hmm.
What a dumbass.
And the rose, it gets to me.
Yeah, I thought it was a hard, really bad rose.
Yeah.
Boy, that's tough.
Next, I'm a big Impractical Joker fan. So we have let the guy with the real fire truck go after him.
Yeah, that was who was the guy that came in on the little fire truck, the little toy one?
That was Daniel, I believe.
So Daniel's still with us. At least they kept him around. That would have been tough.
They were just adding, some comic relief. I thought it was like funny beef.
He shows up like right after him, and then all the guys are kind of gathered around, and they're fucking giving him shit. They're like, "Oh man, that's your competition, boy." He's like, "Ooh, damn, he's good looking too."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was fun.
And he was like, "Shut up, stop saying that." Next tweet, and I think this might be my winner, maybe. Every man's intro this season, and we have some primetime Troy Bolton.
Troy Bolton. There was only one. I was shocked more guys didn't come in and like try to cross her over or something because they talked about was her basketball player. There's only one, right? Didn't one guy bring a ball?
I meant like intro. I was thinking like the video package, but I guess there was only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like 75% of the guys in the intro videos were playing basketball.
Yeah, someone mentioned when they had their one time, like, "Oh, how's your one-on-one game? Bet I could beat you at one-on-one." She's like, "Oh, everyone says that."
Yeah, and I thought that it was so sad, and when she was like, "Oh, I was always the first picked for basketball and the last picked for prom," I was like, "Bitch, I'm about to cry." That was sad.
That was sad.
I was the last picked for basketball. That might be a shocker.
You're a very short lady.
Yeah, dude. When we were watching, I said, "Damn, I bet she was good at hoop. She's tall.
Yeah,
her arms are long as hell. You could probably get down on the court."
Yeah, I'd like to see her play. I would buy a ticket.
Yeah, buckets.
Last and final tweet: me when someone accuses me of lying when I am totally 100% lying.
The most guilty guy ever. Oh man, the worst.
It was great. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I need it. So we were on the wrong hashtag. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
So you have to use the one that says the Bachelorette, and then it gives you the little like emoji thing.
The one that says Bachelorette also does that. So I think they have it set up for both. Because I had a tweet that got a bunch of likes, and I was using Bachelorette. So because one of these tweets you showed the Impractical Jokers one, they had both. They had the Bachelorette and Bachelorette. And
okay.
Yeah, I got to use both still, but yeah.
But yeah. Not to brag, our co-host here went off on Twitter. He got 300 likes. Not to whatever.
No big deal.
No big deal.
What would be your favorite? Vote for what's your best one? I don't know. Who gets your vote for the best one of the week, Bobby?
I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna do this one, the one that says me when
Okay.
someone accuses me of lying.
I'm
When
going
I'm
the Impractical Joker one. I like the
yeah, that
I like the fire truck bit.
Yeah, I think I agree with Wes.
wonderful.
Good stuff.
They're great. Twitter's fun to follow along with while watching. Like I couldn't watch live last night, which really stinks, but whenever I do watch it, like scrolling through that hashtag is amazing.
Yeah, this is going to be coming out on Thursday this week, and it'll be earlier, and it'll be Wednesday morning, hopefully going forward. Our co-host was unable to join us at the usual time. Are we good to go now? Are we good for the rest of the week?
Playoffs. We have our final round of playoffs next week, but we play early, so it should be fun.
Yeah. All right, good. You want to do? Go ahead.
I have one thing I want to do before our last thing. Wes, you'll understand the concept of this. Do some buy or sell with some contestants.
No doubt.
So if they were a stock, do you think their stock will go up or do you think their stock will go down going forward? I have 6 names.
Oh.
I'll be interested to see what you say. First guy, Nate. Will his stock continue to rise,
You're getting in my head.
or do you think he's gonna hit a cliff?
So week to week, like show long, I'm going sell, but week to week, I think he's.
You think he's gonna have 2 or 3 more good weeks before he takes a dip?
I think we'll buy for now, but we're
short term.
You're
Pump and dump.
You're in my head. You maybe dump 3-4 episodes in. What do you think?
I'm buying, Nate.
I'm buying for now.
Yeah, I think I'm a short-term buy on Nate. I do think it's gonna
Early front runner for star of the show.
Yeah.
Seems pretty.
Next, Joe. I know you're no.
Yeah, I think Joe is a top 5 guy.
Yeah,
he's a top 5 guy.
If you gun to my head, who do I think is going to win the whole thing? I would tell you Joe.
I think that it's really likely.
I think.
So we're all 3 a buy on Joe.
Yeah, I think that's an easy buy for now.
Gorgeous man too.
Yeah,
I'm saying he also, by the way, I was spot on. Looks like Austin Eckler. You don't know who that is, Bobby. He's a running back in the NFL. We'll try to post that. Yeah, okay. Joe. He's
also like more normal looking than some of these guys who look like fucking action figures, basically.
True.
Which is like, it's nice, but he's, he looks a little more like just a person.
Yeah, I guess.
Than someone like fucking. The next person will say Clayton. What do you think about Clayton?
Well, don't we know about it?
Well, I'm saying, but for the next few weeks, do you think he'll make it Final Four? Do you think he'll go out next week?
I'm selling him like a house. Realtor vibes.
I think I'm. So the
Bachelor thing throws me off.
Here's the thing. I'm trying to take a lot from the outro teaser thing. There was a lot of clips of him crying, which tells me he probably goes fairly far.
Dude, sounds like he's in love, maybe. We're like going deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I'm going to sell, though.
I agree. I think we're on the same page.
Peter, pizza guy.
Sell. I can't sell enough.
You think like next week he's gone?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think he'll be gone next week, but I don't think it'll be much longer after that. But for sure.
7 guys left. We're down to like 23. I don't think he makes the top 15. I don't know how many weeks that'll take, but I think he's gone.
It won't take long. We're gonna see like big eliminations up until like week 4 or 5.
Okay, I'm thinking he's going to be a part of one of those.
Okay,
I'm out.
Next, I'm buying all the way. Been on this guy's bandwagon the whole time. Pardeep to the moon. He's going to be a fan favorite. I love Pardeep.
I think I'm buying him. I think he'll go get more screen time.
Also, you're buying the price low, though.
It's true. I think he's gone next week.
Really?
I think he's gone. He didn't get any love. He got no video.
Well, they're setting up for the big Pardeep episode next week.
Next week will be telling. But if we're like halfway through and he hasn't got a lot of screen time, he's gone. No rose next week. I'm not liking it.
Just because he wasn't shown a lot on the first night does not mean that we're counting him out, though. Like,
I don't know.
I'm not sure how much screen time Tyler C got on the first night. I can't remember.
I assume he won. I don't know who Tyler C is.
Tyler Cameron.
You don't know who Tyler C is?
Tyler Cameron. I didn't put together Tyler C.
He's a full name guy.
Yeah.
He's not Tyler C anymore.
You're right.
Okay, last person. I think this is probably the most polarizing. Rick, guy in the food platter guy. Are we buying or
You
selling?
seem to be buying.
I'm buying Rick. I think Rick is gonna make a deep run.
I think you're right, but he just creeps me out, so I'm going sell.
Okay, I think
I'm
Rick's going.
going sell.
I can't do.
I don't like Rick. To be clear, I do not like him. I did not think his bit was good, but I think Michelle liked it, and I think it's gonna go pretty far.
I lost what I was going to say. I was going to bring something else up. How, in your experience, how does the first impression rose play? I mean, obviously they're going to go pretty far. Do they win? What are we talking?
So we've seen a good amount of those guys or girls just win, make the engagement or something like that. So it's never going to be like a week 3 elimination for someone
Right.
who got the first impression rose.
And
They might.
After he's going to be in it a ton, it seems like he's in it for the long haul. I just didn't know like how often that translates to winning.
I would say a decent amount.
Yeah, I think
Aaron Rodgers got the first impression rose, and they're getting married. They've been together for like 4 years, I think.
Okay.
So the end teaser trailer. Who do we think we remember seeing the most in that?
For sure, Nate. I saw crying.
Saw a lot of Clayton. Saw a lot of Jamie, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think did we see a lot of Joe?
Was there Joe?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but I remember being like, you know what? I bet they didn't put Joe in that to throw us off.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll take like unseen footage of guys who are no longer there and put it in like the next week's episode to just throw people off.
That makes sense.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
True. Yeah. I was going to say, like, they're not going to give every single thing away. Obviously,
I feel like we saw some Martine in that too. Like he made.
We didn't talk about him at all. We really trashed him in the preview. He made it. He seemed pretty normal. We just kind of made fun of his hair. I don't know. He didn't get a lot of screen time, I guess.
Hold on. Who is he?
Martine,
the one with the blonde hair,
frosted tips.
Okay. I will say, I believe he gets a one-on-one date.
Really?
Okay.
Did you see something or
the car thing? It looked like that was a one-on-one date.
And how soon will that come?
Oh, we'll start one-on-ones next week.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do Simp of the Week. We forgot about that. Simp of the Week. You seem to have it right away.
Simp of the Week.
I got mine. You're going to write it down so I don't copy you?
Oh, it's got to be Rick. It's got to be Food Platter Guy. It's not even close.
Okay. That's not who I have.
That's not who I have.
No, I mean, he would have let her chop his balls off and feed him to him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he would have let her stomp on him.
Do you want me to go or do you want to go?
He was such a sad little puppy dog.
He really was.
I have mine.
Go ahead.
What's yours? Okay, mine's Nate. I think that he was like simping over her.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, all right. I could see it.
You got to elaborate.
When they got alone, like he did. I understand where you're coming from, but he wouldn't be the top of my list at all.
We're talking about Simp of the Week.
Yeah.
He was literally like, "Oh, I don't talk about my family. I don't talk about my problems." And then she's like, "Well, I want to know about your problems." And then he was like, "Tom's down." Have you ever?
I think the fact that you're like higher on him and me and him are like, "Oh, he's just playing her. He's just saying that," is probably why. Like, if you think he's being 100% genuine, then yeah, that pick makes sense. I think.
Yeah. I'm going with. Make sure I got the initial right. I'm going with Brandon J. I'm going with Junior Prom. What did he do? He got his alone time, and he was, I can't even remember what they talked about, but he was just like eating out of the palm of her hand, just whatever she did. It was so pathetic. And he did this. They had this whole bit at the cocktail hour where he kind of kept looking around like, when am I going to get my chance? When's my time? He like didn't know when to go for it. He just seemed, I wasn't. Yay.
This is totally different direction, but talking about Brandon J, I thought it was so interesting that they used like his interview to like do a voiceover of like a preview of the whole night. Do you remember that? It was like he was talking and it was like flashes of all the guys talking at the cocktail hour and all this stuff. And I was like, why is this guy the guy that's like narrating it?
Yeah, he did. And they kept kind of cutting back to his like
interview.
Yeah, I do remember that. I just didn't like his vibes. He seemed very puppy doggish.
Yeah.
And he also
I think
had
it was
a terrible fit. I don't know. That doesn't really matter. But
the outfit was bad, and then he had flannel sheets. I was like, Jesus.
yeah, not very good. Anything else you want to cover? Anyone that surprised you that got let go? Mostly not very memorable guys. I think they were let go for a reason. They didn't
Yeah.
really get any screen time.
Yeah, no.
I think we thought
I was
Edward
not
was
surprised.
going to have a bit of a run, and he ended up being a 0.
Yeah,
Long-haired, dirty-looking guy.
dirty fella, the one with the
Yeah.
hole. All right.
Nope.
Anything else you want to talk about? Any predictions? You think Nate's got the inside track here? What are we thinking? I think we both like Joe.
I don't know. I'm the opposite of you guys where I'm like a little bit more hesitant about Joe, but I mean, we'll see. But yeah, no, overall I feel like she'll get engaged. So
It's Joe, it's Nate, or it's Jamie. I don't think it's
agree.
going to be
I
anyone
think-
else.
I don't-
think it's
I
one of those.
agree. I think we
I
could pick our top 3 right now and still have a
I-
really good show.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a show and we have to like go on this big journey, but like I can't see anyone else. Like, do they really
I think
like lead you on like night one, like right down the path of where we're going? It seems like
No.
the-
You'll get
From-
curveballs.
I do think there's some people laying in the weeds that didn't get a lot of screen time. PJ, Olamide, Martin seems like he makes a bit of a run. So I think there's definitely some other people that
yeah,
we just don't know yet.
I don't want to get too recency bias on night one because they're
She also picked Leroy very quickly, so Leroy might have a good shot also.
true.
All right, that's all I
All
got.
right.
Anything else, Bobby?
Same. Nope. I'm excited for next week. Thanks for
Yep.
waiting a day for me.
This should be out on Thursday. Next week it should be out on. We'll try to record it right after. It should be out on Wednesday morning, hopefully. Get over YouTube, like and subscribe to the video. Tune in next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Wonderful. Thanks, gentlemen.
Bye, Bobby.